Well, he opens up the book, and this is when he discovers the actual letters themselves, the hard copy, the paper, the ink. But included in that is also a holographic version. And the holographic version, when activated, if you can imagine this, the room fills with light, which are the pages of the book that go from the floor to his feet to above his head. And so Vaughn is able to actually, in life-size version, with a flip of his hand or his eye, flip the pages of this holographic version of the letters. He can walk into it. He can actually touch the words and he can pull them out. He can hold the words. He can manipulate them in his hands. And there were certain pages when Carew wrote the letters that emotion flowed, as did tears. And on the hard copy are stains. They're tear stains from his son. And in the holographic version, this reproduction captured those tear stains, but they're more than just the capturing of the stain. It's something that I haven't explained yet. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I can. But it's not a static stain on the holographic version. The tear stain on that version is the same size as Vaughn's face. And Vaughn is able to place his face into the tear stain. And when that happens, he is taken to a place where it's a different plane of existence. It's not him and Carew meeting again in the afterlife. I don't know how to describe it, but it puts Vaughn in a place where things are fuzzy, where communication is taking place not in the normal channels of communication. And it's very much a dreamlike state, but it does create a sense of a reuniting. So he discovers that exists in the holographic version. And when he pulls his head out, when his tears met the tears of his son, there was that connection. But when he pulls his head out, he glances down and he sees those four words that he had seen before. I love you, Dad. And he reaches down, and with his hands, he grabs hold of those four words, which are, I don't know, wider than his shoulders when he pulls them out. And if you can imagine, he's holding these four words, I love you, Dad, in his hand. And the light from these words, as he's holding them, is pulsing. It's getting brighter and dimmer, just as that disc did, as if it's leaving, as if it's breathing. And he notices that the light is getting stronger and weaker in tune to his own heart, as if the two have become as one. And so on bended knee, standing, kneeling before what in his mind is something very sacred, he bows his head and he pulls the words up to his chest and he wraps the words around his chest. And the words, as if they have a life of his own, wrap themselves around him. He doesn't have to hold them. They've wrapped themselves around him, around his chest, around his heart. And if you can imagine the word love in that four words being the part that is on his chest, and I can't describe the emotion and the feeling that is occurring in Vaughn as these words he's extracted are literally hugging him. And so in that moment, on bended knee, he reaches his hands down, because they no longer need to hold the words, to steady himself. And he looks almost like a 100-meter sprinter on the blocks, on knee, hands planted, head down, waiting for the count. So that's the visual. And in that moment, with eyes closed tight and the room filled with light, he utters the words back, I love you too, son. And so this is the scene, which, if you want to read the chapters consecutively, go back to Frelette, September 28th, and where he's trying to write that verse to express how he's feeling, that he's got all these words inside, they're heavy like water in a pail, and they're burning his arms as he's holding them out. And the fire of life, the life of Karu, which has been extinguished, he can't do anything with these words. He can't do anything with the water because the fire is no longer there. So if you start there and simply move forward, it will take you through the series of chapters that concludes with On Bended Knee. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the blog.